Welcome to the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show, created and hosted by Scott Knudsen, to explore the crossroads of horses and the business world. On today's show, Scott visits with international award-winning filmmaker Ashley Mancuso. Now here's your host, Scott Knudsen.
All right. Hi everybody and welcome to the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. I'm your host, Scott Knudsen. Whether you're listening to us on KCA, out on the NBC affiliate in California, or watching our podcast, we want to welcome you. Today we have a very special guest, Ashley Mancuso. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
So we're coming to you from Dillion, Montana at the historic Andrus Hotel. And we are here for an international film festival, a lot of horseback riding, and an equine event. So we want to welcome you, and we're here for this weekend. So Ashley, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we're having a lot of crossover so far.
Lots of crossover.
Yeah.
So Ashley, I forgot to say this. It's really impressive. She's a USDF gold medalist, and she is a certified yoga instructor, and so many other things we're going to get to in this story here. And I know you're going to love it. So Ashley, thanks. And so, how did you start riding?
Oh gosh. Well, so I'm a dressage rider now, but I've been a rider since I was very small. My mom grew up on a ranch in Wyoming, so
Very cool.
That's in the blood. But started jumping, doing 3-day eventing, pony club, all that stuff. And now I do yoga for riders and for horses, and both together. And
Very cool.
It's a very symbiotic relationship.
Very cool. So you went from Western.
Well, I was really just on the front of my mom's saddle.
I got you.
But I think that's foreshadowing, and we'll get to that later.
Awesome. There's a little hook for y'all right there. That's great. So when you started riding, what age did you start riding, and when did your parents say, okay, you don't need us, you can go ride?
Oh gosh. So I mean, I was told I couldn't ride. I think I was 3, and my mom was on horses, and I jumped on a horse in the pasture.
Awesome.
Took off with me, fell off. Really wanted to get back on, had just fearless. So I started, from 4 or 5 maybe.
Wow, that's awesome.
What about you? When did you start riding?
I was, the same age, I don't remember. The first day I was home from the hospital, but Dad put me on his roping horse, and he was sitting on it, but I kind of the 3 or 4 range, just like you, and ever since.
I remember riding more than walking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good.
So I've tried to retrace my steps a little bit and learn even more about the basics. So I went from 3-day eventing to just dressage and went up all the levels of dressage. So
And what are the levels?
So, we've got intro, training, first level, second level, third level, fourth level, and then you get into the FEI levels. And so that's Pre-St. George, Intermediaire, and the Grand Prix.
Wow. And you're a gold medalist.
I am.
That's so one of the youngest in the country, correct?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's really a blessing to get with the right trainer, the right horse. Very blessed to have had that education. So it's just incredible.
Wow. So do you travel still doing that? Because you're busy with the yoga as well and with other things. And teaching.
Right, yeah. No, I'm kind of in an interesting stage here where I'm moving.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going from the farm in Tallahassee where I work for Marcia Sapp, who's an incredible horse trainer. And here's our crossover too, is the Mustangs.
Yes.
So she does the Mustang makeovers, so starting horses. But I'm taking my 2 horses and we're going to Idaho. So we're going to be there and start training and just a new chapter.
New chapter, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So our paths did cross a couple of years ago in Fort Worth. Now we're in Dillion, they're crossing again.
Isn't that weird?
It's amazing.
But that's how it works.
It's the horse community.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what breed. We were at a Mustang event.
Yep.
And Cobra was there.
Cobra was there.
And
I was riding a Gypsy Vanner. So
yeah,
it's
riding the
just
Gypsy
random.
Vanner.
Yeah.
Cobra's there. You won an international award for that movie.
Oh yeah, so Cobra's movie is amazing. It's just a great story. And for those who don't know, Cobra is a 3-stripe Mustang, and Marcia had him for the makeover. And then she continued his education, brought him up through the levels, and he is the most award-winning Mustang that we know of.
Right.
And so one of her family friends, Peter Prince, wrote a song about him.
Very cool.
And as we listened to the song, I said, I'm going to make a music video for this, and it's going to be really good.
Awesome.
And so I knew it was special, but I didn't know how many people who weren't even horse people would just really grasp onto the special story that it is.
It's a great story. Didn't Briar do a horse?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I have a signed Briar model of him.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's very cool. You need to get one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would have to be, they didn't continue making them because it was a special thing.
Limited deal.
Yeah, it's very
Limited
cool.
deal. So how can they see the film?
They can see it on YouTube. So it's accessible for everybody. Cobra, Mustang. You're going to get a lot of cars, so you might want to type in horse. But it has so many views now. I mean, we're getting up there, so
that's wonderful.
It's very exciting.
I bet that was fun to do.
It was very, and just to be able to work with Marsha as a trainer, as an instructor, as an employer, and then do a creative project together.
Right.
And actually me directing her for once.
That's totally reversing roles.
Really funny.
Wow.
It was great. I think we make a good team.
Yeah. So I was riding Heritage at the Heritage Mustang.
Awesome.
So we were 3 stalls over from each other.
Just
really
bizarre.
cool. Yeah.
Bizarre.
Really cool. So you're training. So are you looking for youth, or is it older adults, or what's your target?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd say everybody because it's kind of changed, but I love kids and I love everybody. I love everyone of all ages, and I mean, it always confused me when people would say that they're like an animal person, not a people person. I'm like, God, you gotta be both. You know what I mean? You gotta be both. And so, yeah, all ages, and same with horses, all breeds.
Yeah.
I love a challenge. Yeah, I heard you in your talk talking about challenges.
Yeah. There's nothing better, and I think it makes you better in your discipline when you go ride other horses and work with other people. It just makes you stronger and a better horse person.
Right, and you teach riders as well, I assume.
Absolutely.
And so the same as if you have a tough student,
Yeah.
And that occurred to me pretty recently. I'm like, wow, this is really frustrating. And then I'm like, this is perfect. Yeah. This is good. And now I have to be better at explaining things and getting back to the basics and how to be a good instructor.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you're instructing both. You're instructing the horse, but you're also doing the student.
Yeah.
So you got 2 different, a verbal and a non-verbal.
Well, and it's wild because the horse is telling you what's going on. And so you're almost the mediator between the two.
Absolutely.
It's like I'm just narrating what the horse is saying to you and to me at the same time.
So cool.
And so that's the thing, about the yoga with the horses is I think we grow up and we have so many instructors. We get a lot of these voices and these echoes in our brain.
Sure.
Do you get that?
Absolutely.
You hear voices?
Yes.
And so then what do you do when the instructor's not there?
Right.
You've got to listen to your own inner voice. And so that's a big thing of the yoga is getting into that meditative state where you're trusting yourself and trying to empower riders to understand that, you got this. Like, you got it. Just you and her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because you're really building both confidence levels. The horses and the train and the person.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can't be stressing out a rider and expect to get a result from the horse.
No, because the horse will go the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You just sink in the ship.
I want to spend a lot of time on the horse and the yoga part. So when did you start yoga? So you're certified, so.
Yes, it was really important to me that I got certified because I was, teaching yoga here and there and almost not really realizing it. So I wanted to make sure that I kind of had credentials for that, and the same with the dressage. I wanted to make sure I had credentials. So I took a class with my mom in high school.
Very cool.
And we walked out of the class and we just felt, otherworldly, like, almost high or something.
Yes.
Just like, what is this? And the only other time I felt that was on a horse. So I just thought, this is really special. And then it occurred to me later that they belong together. So, gosh, there's so much. There's yoga for the riders, for our bodies. How many aches and pains do
Absolutely.
you more than anybody, right?
Absolutely.
How do we maintain a sense of health mentally and physically to be better riders? But then also in our training with the horses, getting their fitness up, getting them focused, rhythmic. That's pretty much yoga for the horse.
Right.
And so then I can teach you on a mat. I can teach you beside your horse, just see how your breathing affects them. And then we can do stretches on the horse.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You want to try some?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we'll find you a horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next episode.
Yeah, I don't say no. So.
I know.
So yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Scott will be right back with more from Ashley Mancuso.
Hello everybody, I'm Scott Knutson, host of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. Here today to tell you about a hotel. It's a boutique hotel I just had the pleasure of staying at. I loved it and I know you will as well. It's in the historic downtown district of Dillion, Montana. It was voted 2021 Business of the Year in all of Beaverhead County. And it has a rooftop garden. It has some incredible suites, and the history is incredible. It's a beautiful hotel, the Andrus Hotel. It's Andrus, ANDRUS hotel.com. Please look them up. The only thing better than the hotel is the people. They will greet you. They will take care of you during your stay. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. I had the pleasure. I wanted to tell you, please look them up. Please get a chance. You want to stay there. The Andrus Hotel, Dillion, Montana. Hi, I'm Scott Knutson, host of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. Today, we're going to talk about something I'm really passionate about. Those that know me know I love my coffee. Those that don't, now you know I do. And we've been working on this for several months, and we wanted to get it just right. And we don't put our name on anything unless we feel 100% certain it's the best product we can get. And we've done it. I really believe we've done it. We've created a coffee line, 13 great flavors. I'm going to show you 3 of them. We have K-Cups in all 13 flavors. Here's a Jamaican Me Crazy. It's just a really great coffee. Everyone has great logos. It has a brand, the same brand that's on our horses, our trailers. You know that brand means something, and we wouldn't put it on here if it wasn't good coffee. We have whole bean. This is a great Honduran blend, and it's a whole bean coffee. We have whole bean in all 13 flavors. And then we have a ground coffee. This is a really great one. My wife and I really like this a lot, loved it. So we named it after our daughter, Hades Blend. Everyone has the packaging and the logo of the show, our brand, and I hope you like it. I really believe you will. And we're going to have more flavors coming out soon. We're going to have the pumpkin spices, and then we're going to go to peppermint after that. And please send us your suggestions as well. You can find it at cowboyentrepreneur.shop. Think coffee shop. Cowboyentrepreneur.shop. Thank you so much. So when you were doing it, when you put your program together, how did you experiment to say, okay, this is the perfect way to have it set up? This is going to be the best for the person and the horse.
What do you think? I mean,
I think knowing the horse, and then when the people talk to you and they're telling you where they're hurting, as a certified instructor, you put them together.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Exactly.
That's
And that's what I would say is, I say, okay, we're going to do yoga with horses. And everyone's like, oh God, what's going to happen? She's going to get us to stand up and flip on the horse or something. And I'm very much on safety. I'm very helmets all the time and all of that. So just getting people to take a deep breath.
Right.
And then the horse takes a deep breath. There we go. Off to a good start.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. So when they start with yoga and horses, do they have to have a horse? Or
no,
do they need a horse?
No, I think you work up to it, right? And I don't encourage anybody to just go do yoga on a horse.
Right.
I think you should be confident in the saddle, aware of horse behavior, and you should be aware of your own body.
Sure.
If, for example, I was riding 10 horses a day, lunging horses. I was working very hard. And I was riding one horse in particular, and every time I asked for the right lead, it's a big Andalusian horse, he would buck. And Marcia would say, he doesn't do that with me. And so I go to my chiropractor, and I'm talking about it, and he goes, well, your right hip is jammed.
Oh, wow.
And so the horse was kind of trying to dislodge, he's trying to help me out a little bit there. And so a younger me would have said, he's being a little rank or something, and now I would say, oh, I need to work on myself. That's all me. And that's the horse is never wrong. And so,
yeah, absolutely.
Dialing back to that all the time.
Yeah, they're never wrong. They never lie.
No,
that's the one thing you can trust about a horse, and that's funny he was telling you. Something's not right.
And the cool thing that I want people to know about yoga is that when you're on a yoga mat, it's not just, woosah and relax. It's hard work.
Sure.
So the yogis, both horsemanship and yoga practice, very ancient for people. And the word yoga means to yoke yourself to something greater. Gotcha. Right?
Gotcha.
So who understands that better than
a horse?
Well, horseback riders.
Yes.
We're, yoking ourselves to something greater. And so what you find And you were talking about staying fit and working out.
Absolutely.
It's not always fun.
No.
And sometimes you want to cry, and you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's good. Let it out, because that's honesty.
Right.
It's when we ignore it, push through the pain, that kind of thing. That's when you're not so much with the yoga. So if we approach our horsemanship more like our yoga practice,
right,
we're doing the horse a favor.
Absolutely. And the rider.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shift though. Especially for the Western rider and some of these other guys,
Yeah.
and ladies, because you just ride through it. You just got to get your job done. But if you slow down and do the right things and get your body in tune, it makes it a lot better.
Well, and that's kind of what happened to me with the 3-day eventing is, you do your dressage, you do your cross country, and then you come back for show jumping. And I had this mentality of, I'm sitting in second place. If I get within the time, we'll win. And then I can move up to the next level and keep going until I go to the Olympics, right?
Sure.
So I took a tight turn. I pushed for a distance, and my horse was slightly off in the warm-up for like 5 steps, and then it went away. And you're just in the moment of, we're showing, we've paid money, like we're doing this. And so pushing through it, right?
Sure.
Having that little voice going, something's not quite right, but it'll be fine. But I just knew it wasn't right. So anyway, we had a rotated fall, one leg never left the ground, and we flipped. And you're familiar with concussions, but world went black, opened my eyes, horse's legs flying, and then I just felt sick. Broken bone.
Sure.
The telltale sign
it's
of that.
It's an awful deal, yeah.
It is, and that's when I learned when you break something, you feel sick.
Yes.
And I said, I need a soda. And they're like, no, we might have to do surgery, so you can't have soda.
Yeah.
Do you remember those weird things? I can get hurt.
Yeah, believe me. Yes, absolutely.
The weird things.
Oh, it's so bad. And you're laying there. And your horse isn't attached anymore. Like, what happened?
And you know what else occurred to me? Because I love eventing and I love horse sports and I'm an athlete. But when I was, working my way out and the ambulance was coming, the show just kept going on. But for me, the world stopped.
Yeah.
And that really struck me as like, it's almost like the sport's not going to wait for you or something. Like the show goes on, but you're not in it.
So many people feel that way, and it's a right to feel that way because it does go on.
Right.
And as soon as you get to the edge of the arena, you hear the announcer or the music or the crowd, and it just comes back to life, and you're fighting for yours, And it's a bad deal, and I think every discipline you feel that.
Right.
You get hurt.
But here's what I like about yoga, and I think you'd appreciate this because when you were talking about working with horses and how it's always your fault, the good horseman always does. It was my fault.
Sure.
But in yoga, we have this, you have these things you follow. It's not a religion; it's a practice.
Right.
And one of the words that I love is ahimsa, and it's nonviolence. Not just nonviolence to other beings, but to yourself.
Right.
And man, I was so crippled with the guilt of that tight turn and thinking that was all my fault. What if I killed him? But my horse is okay. He's still with me. He's 28 years old. He's the love of my life.
Great.
But you have to be able to forgive yourself in order to keep being in service of others.
Right.
If that makes sense.
100%.
Gotta.
Yeah, you have to forgive yourself. You have to move on. And just learn from it.
Right.
You just learn from it. So you had another accident too, didn't you?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I've had so many. And you can, right?
We both were there too.
It's
absolutely.
So I mean, it's not really. The accidents, I think they serve as like we were saying, like a half halt for yourself.
Right.
Like a moment of, okay, wait, why did that happen? Why am I doing this? What do I do now?
Right.
And so it's more important to me, like what happened after the accident. And so my first in high school, that's when I went to college. I studied film.
Okay.
I thought, okay, well I'm a terrible horseback rider. I made a huge mistake. What can I do?
Right.
I can make films about the environment, about animals, about good people, and share their stories, and maybe I can affect change that way. Then I met Marsha. She got me back in the saddle.
Awesome.
She's like, let's go, and I needed that at that time.
Sure.
And so, I think from every injury I have, and I know that you appreciate this, just listen. It was wonderful to hear you talk because when you get back to that point where you were telling me, couldn't even read or write. And I think that it's actually a gift because it gives you a very strong sense of empathy, and it makes you a better teacher. And you can dial it back and say, ask me the questions. There's no stupid questions. Let's go back to the basics and really kind of smooth out
well, like
tension.
you ride that horse, you're watching the clock. That won't happen again.
That's right.
But I think getting back on the horse, that's a strong move. And I think yoga, and you know more than me for sure, I think that helps you mentally. You get stronger mentally. And if you're stronger mentally, you get back on. Once you're on it, you're on again.
You're so much more aware, and to be able to have the awareness, but to not let it paralyze you.
Right.
And so I'd like to hear about your yoga experience so far.
Oh my goodness.
How's it going?
Oh, it's terrible.
Right there,
but we're getting positive.
It's getting better.
Absolutely,
That's right.
It is. The first day.
It can't get any worse. It's getting better.
It can't. We hit the bottom. So
it's
now
all about our words.
It is. And we are. Every time it gets a little bit better, and I understand. I spent my whole. So I didn't go anywhere. I watched YouTube beginner videos on yoga because I wanted to get better with my body, but also my riding. I mean, always trying to improve. And I spent more time watching the video than doing it because I didn't know what downward dog was.
Do. I mean, that's how we learn it. And the mirror neuron of seeing it, it's really important. And I guess we should give a shout out because I think it's yoga with Adrienne.
I love yoga with Adrienne.
Love her. She's great. She's in Texas.
I didn't know.
There
So
we go.
it's helping. It really is, and I'm starting to learn some of the words. And
do you have a favorite pose so far?
The one, no.
No.
I couldn't remember. They look simple, but they're really not if you do it right.
Okay, so when you're on a horse and with the yoga, I really want to preserve riders. I want you to be able to ride to your 90.
Absolutely, that's when we started.
Yeah, so we've got these joints, right? These shock absorbers.
Right.
And so it's really important that they work well. So starting with the spine, we've got primary curves, your cervical, lumbar, and then you've got that little one of the SI, right?
Right.
And so if you're sitting the trot, you have to be able to absorb that motion and all the way down to your legs.
Sure.
So think about a squat, right? It's kind of like a chair pose,
right?
Kind of like posting the trot or sitting the trot. I mean, they're the same thing. You're creating that accordion motion with your body.
Right.
So I'd say you're good at chair pose.
Yeah,
because you ride
I
horses,
like that one. I like that
horses.
one. Yeah, that's a good one.
With warrior pose, I think that's what you're going for.
Yeah, the warrior. Yeah, I didn't want to go all out.
Yeah, so with the warrior pose, you can open it out to the side or you can come forward.
Yeah. But after a hard day of riding, it makes you feel better. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it does.
Yeah, like you're saying.
Absolutely. And so think about what your hips are doing. If they're straight in the warrior, they're directing forward. But if I'm opening one hip and closing the other, what gait do you think?
Sure, absolutely.
That could be a walk, or it could be a
who knows?
canter.
I think
it could be a lateral movement. I mean, you do the poses, but you don't realize you're doing them.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah,
and you do them on a horse, and that's typically a little harder than on the ground.
Right.
So
it makes sense. I'm gonna try.
Doing it.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna open my door in the workout room. I've been shutting it because I was so embarrassed.
Avoidance.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna open it in case somebody walks by. I'm okay with it.
That's a great thing. There's a quote that's like, no one ever says, "Oh, I have to do yoga today," because it'd be like saying, "I have to have dessert." Ugh.
Yeah.
Like I want people to understand. We call it your practice for a reason. So if you only like to do corpse pose, which is laying flat on your back, napping.
That's about it.
That's great. That's great. Do that. That's your body's telling you should do that.
Right.
Or if you see a lot of people, working their neck or, rolling their shoulders back. Those are all things that we teach in yoga class and how to do them safely. They're just like with a horse, you don't want to over flex them or push too hard. I don't want anyone to get hurt in a yoga class or on a horse. So you go within your limits and know your body. Don't do any back bends yet. You're not ready for that.
No. But we're trying to get there.
Yeah. Little by little.
Yeah. And it helps after riding all day or something. It helps. I still work out, but I added that to it. It's really made a difference.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Keep it up. I'll be checking on you.
Yeah, do it. Keep me on task.
Yeah.
You know, but I think more riders are going to do it because everybody's looking for an edge, and for some of them are just looking to feel better when they ride, or get to ride again. So it has its benefits for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk filmmaking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's really cool, and so many people want to do what you do, and you've won international awards. And so how did you start? How did that become your passion? Because you're certified yoga. You're training people to ride horses. You're riding horses at a high level. So how did you do that?
I always loved movies, loved films. I was never a person that would fall asleep watching a movie.
Awesome.
I'm like, how could you do that? People work so hard on this, you know?
Yeah.
And there's so much detail that people put into it. And so I was making movies with my cousin, and we would actually host film awards when we were little kids.
Awesome.
So this is not a new thing. This is...
Now you're winning.
Yeah, I mean,
I was going to say it.
It helps to have a great story.
Yes.
And to have great characters in your story.
Mm-hmm.
So we are working on a follow-up for the Cobra film.
Cool.
Because it's just a 6-minute, but it gives you a lot of his story. So we really want to accentuate that. And I have footage from his retirement ceremony, which was in Lexington, Kentucky at the Briarfest. I don't know if you know Templeton Thompson, but she's an incredible Nashville singer. Right. She sings his song that Peter Prince wrote, Ronnie Kimball performs for his retirement. Very and so cool. that's something to look forward to is that film coming out. Very excited.
Very cool. So you said you went to school for that?
I kind of made a pivot. I did environmental studies and science, and then I kind of went to media communications environmental. I just knew I wanted to make films about horses and people and nature, and so here we are.
Here you are.
Here we are.
Yeah, just one more thing you did. Check it off.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Absolutely.
Because that's what happened is I just looked up film festival entries, and then brought me here to this incredible festival with Janet Rose, and I get to meet amazing people like you.
Oh, cool.
No, it's seriously.
Yeah, no, I just ride horses, man. That's all I do.
That's not true.
But it's a great festival, and it's so good. You took the initiative to make it, the movie, but then to enter it.
Yeah, it's this interesting pull you have, where you're like, I have to do this, and it's like that yoking yourself to something greater. Right. I remember editing it, and I just was thinking like, this is really special. And then Marcia came in and she watched it with her daughter, Dana Lynn, who's very little, and she really liked it and appreciated it, and I saw it was emotional for her, and then that's when I knew, okay, we
got something.
Yeah, because I would hate to make a film about somebody and not have them adore it.
Sure.
But she does, and job well done.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And you liked it, so.
I loved it. I loved it. So what's next for you? You have so many things going on. I know you have the big move. Moving,
that's a big one. My boyfriend and I are moving out to Haley, Idaho, and I'm really excited. My horse doesn't sweat well, so I'm excited for the cooler climate. Yeah. But really just onward and upward with all the things that I think that's what we have to do is whatever's pulling you, go with it. Listen to that little voice.
Say yes.
Listen to the inner voice. Say yes. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are your clients going with you, or are you going to set up a whole new client base here to people to train?
Yeah, I got to set up a whole new client base, but I'll tell you what I really am interested in doing is taking the network and the community that I've made for the past 10 years in Tallahassee and having an online program for them to follow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm awesome. Very excited.
And they will.
I hope so.
I'm watching YouTube. I mean, I know they'll follow you. They know you.
Yeah, and I don't want to lose them. There's just I think every person you meet is a teacher. Whether they teach you something you don't so much liked, or in my case, great community in Tallahassee. But they're all my teachers. I gotta bring them with me.
Absolutely.
No matter if they don't want to come.
You're coming with me. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. Scott will be right back with Ashley Mancuso. For more information on Scott Knudsen, the Cowboy Entrepreneur, visit us online at cowboyentrepreneur.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Knudsen, host of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show, heard on KCAA, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'd like to talk to you about something I'm very passionate about, Those that know me know I love my coffee. In the morning, afternoon, and even late in the evening, I enjoy a good cup of coffee almost any time of the day. Now, my team at the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show has been working for several months on creating and introducing our own brand of coffee. We wanted to make sure that we got it just right. We don't want to put our name on anything unless we're 100% certain that it's the best product available, and we've finally done it. We have created a wonderful line of coffees, 13 fantastic flavors offered in whole bean, ground, and K-Cups. Any way you like to brew your coffee. Now, each of our coffees carries our brand, the very same brand that we put on our horses, our trailers, and our chaps. So you know that this is a quality product. And we only use 100% Arabica beans, the very best beans available. Just listen to some of these wonderful blends and flavors. Jamaican Me Crazy, Honduran San Marcos, Chocolate Cherry Amaretto, Breakfast Blend, and my very favorite, Haley's Blend. A coffee so good, we named it after my daughter. You can order these coffees today by going online to cowboyentrepreneur.shop. That's cowboyentrepreneur.shop. And if you order today, you can get an extra 10% off your final purchase just by entering the promo code Cowboy on checkout. Remember, that's promo code Cowboy for an extra 10% off. Just go to cowboyentrepreneur.shop to order your coffee today. I'm Scott Knutson with the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show here weekly, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific on KCAA. And I love American history. Who doesn't? I enjoy reading about those early pioneers that left family and friends in the East and headed to the West in hopes of making their fortunes. The stories captured the minds and are a great example of the American spirit that made this country great. The state of California had its beginnings up in a little mountain town in northern California called Truckee. The immigrants, on their way west, went right through what is now downtown along the old Dutch flat wagon road. The story of this old Wild West town is a fascinating one. And if you're interested like I am in these old stories, you might want to take a look at taking the Haunted Truckee Ghost Walk. It's definitely not your typical ghost hunting adventure, but rather takes you back in the dates of California's earliest beginnings. Next time you're up there, check it out. Tickets and information are available on their website, hauntedtruckee.com. People are loving this tour and it's receiving some great reviews. Again, the website to get tickets is hauntedtruckee.com.
Welcome back to the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. Here's your host, Scott Knutson.
So we have a lot of people watch our show that want to be educated.
Yes.
So what advice do you have for, because you are an entrepreneur, you're a horsewoman and a yoga instructor, but you really are and successful. So what advice would you give somebody, maybe listening to us or on KCAA or watching our podcast?
Yeah, no, okay. So what I would say is let the horse talk to you. Don't let somebody tell you, don't let someone negate what you know the horse is trying to tell you. Does that make sense?
100%.
That's why.
100%.
Yeah, exactly, because you have that feeling. You've ever had that where someone's telling you something and you're like,
I don't think so.
Or I'd like to do it a little different. Like, keep that with you. And one of the things my mom said to me, I was very blessed to be in the pony club, and it sounds so, pony club.
But it's not.
It's not, it's intense.
No. Yeah, it's very intense.
So we'd go to these clinicians, and sometimes they just were having a bad day and would chew you out. And my mom would say, okay, take the good and just let the rest, let it settle. Don't take it with you.
Smart.
Don't take it personally. And so that's really helped me to take, and to bring, and even if it's a hard lesson, got it, it hurt, got it, but bringing it with me. Because I'm not going to get hurt like that again, right?
I'm going to learn.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn.
Go with your gut, follow your inner voice. It's, that second guessing. I remember that second guessing the minute before I tripped on my horse. I remember. It was like a film that, gets, that break right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you knew.
I knew it.
Yeah.
And that's what I just, oh man. I knew as soon as I got up, I was like, where's my horse? Is he okay?
Oh my
and
goodness.
he's like, oh.
That's the worst feeling in the world. But the first time you get back on to that horse, it's the best feeling.
And it was hard because we had done so much. I mean, we were doing intermediate level eventing, not competing at that level, but we would school things that were just massive jumps over ditches and through water and just incredible. You would walk it and it would be, eye level. And you're like, it's going to look smaller when I get on my horse. It's way higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You're trying to trick yourself.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's older. I'm looking at the time, I'm like, he's getting older. I'm losing my horse. This is the horse I thought we were going to go away.
Sure.
And so being okay with getting back to gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that, but I do have him, and we do have each other. And it's very cheesy, but
it's cool, and it makes sense. And that's so awesome. So what about a filmmaker? So what if there's somebody out there that says, I want to make a film, and then I want to go enter in a competition?
Oh,
how do they do that? I mean, how does somebody do that?
Oh gosh, I mean, for me it was like, okay, so do a little bit of photography, right? Mm-hmm. Just a little bit here and there.
Sure.
You know how sometimes you know it's not a good picture, but you're like, I should take a picture of this?
Yes.
Forget that. But when you see it, take it. If you know, like, that's that moment and you shoot it,
right.
That's that instinct and you gotta follow it. So that's what I did with Cobra. Didn't second guess it, and people loved it. And so going forward, that's what I would say is go with your gut. If you like it, someone else is gonna love. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know that other people are gonna like it.
Sure.
If you just think about the things that you like that you think are silly, it's like, it's really not though.
Yeah, there'll be somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's cool. There's always stories out there to be told. Mm-hmm. And you just start practicing, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do. I practice and practice until you get to a level.
There you go. Exactly. Repetition, and there's something in yoga that's pretty interesting, but it's like you have these poses you really enjoy doing, but it's the ones you don't like doing that you need to do.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely.
Like, we had Temple Grandin as a speaker, and she addressed the question about, being in a rut, kind of getting a little down on yourself. And she said, I wake up and I get dressed for work at 7 a.m. every morning.
Every day.
Just be ready, because something amazing's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. It always does if you let it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you said so many things in your talk that really resonated.
Thank you so much.
Really?
It was a lot of fun.
It was amazing, and I got some coffee.
That's right.
I got
It's almost your
coffee.
birthday, so you got some Cowboy Entrepreneur coffee.
Yeah, where is it? I'm gonna grab it.
All right.
You said, who's got a birthday coming?
And there you are, raising your hand. I'd give you one anyway.
Yep. So here's my Cowboy coffee. Really excited.
Awesome. That's so great. and you're doing yours tomorrow, and you're going to have a horse?
Yes.
That's
Okay, so
fun.
my horse's name is Benny.
Benny.
He's a retired Forest Service horse. And they want a nice calm horse for me. So I'll be able to do probably more poses than I would on a
that's gonna be
recently
great.
started horse.
That's going to be great. Well, you know what's so cool about it is the conference is you get to do this, and then there's people that take it home, and then they're going to want to follow you, and then start trying to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to help so many people.
Don't you have that feeling where you're like, I don't want to leave because I've made so many friends?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But they stay with you.
They stay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, social media is great for that. Because you stay close, and they can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
They can text your question.
Which means that we will be doing yoga on a horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can show me some of your rodeo stuff because I'm going to be out west. Like you're
going to be here.
Be working my western saddle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think the people are ready to see it, but I'll show you since you're a teacher. Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much.
All right, I really enjoyed it. And thank everybody
best.
for listening to us today on KCA and watching us on our podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all the great sponsors of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show. For more information about today's guest, Ashley Mancuso, visit her website, ashleymancuso.com. If you or your business is interested in being a sponsor of the Cowboy Entrepreneur Show, please call our office at 830-992-1786 or visit our website, cowboyentrepreneur.com.